everybody. I am Bonnie LaCourse, the marketing manager with Stanton Chase Boston. With me today, I have Daliza Nova. Daliza, we were going over your story a little bit yesterday, coming to the United States from the Dominican Republic when you were 6 years old, not knowing the language, and now look at you. Tell me a little bit about your story and the growth
I
behind
know. It's interesting because from hindsight, it just seems like a regular story. I have so many friends and family that have gone through it. So it's not like I feel, particularly special. But I came here when I was 6 with my parents, and like a lot of many good Dominicans, we went to New York City. I'm the youngest of 3, 2 older brothers. And my mom said, there's no way I'm raising my sons in Manhattan. So we then quickly came to Boston. And I've been in schools here my whole life. I went to college in Western Mass. But when we first came to the US, we lived in a studio apartment, the 5 of us. But now looking back at it, I'm like, holy moly, how does one live like that, And then I went off to college, and I guess, like they say, the rest is history, right?
No, absolutely. And I'd love to hear all of that. One of the organizations that you were involved with early on in college is the Bottom Line.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit more about that organization and the mission.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Bottom Line completely saved my career, my future, and in more ways than I can count. Going through the process of college in itself is stressful for anyone, right? Now, imagine going through that process as a first-generation student whose parents, frankly, don't have the time to sit there and guide you through matches and reaches and safety schools and then FAFSA and then all these things that come with the application process, right? So Bottom Line was there to kind of be that parent in the absence of being able to go home and do those things. I was able to apply for free, which is another problem. I couldn't afford to pay for those application fees. So Bottom Line was able to be there to pay those, to subsidize those fees so I can go ahead and apply. And then getting into college and being able to have someone guide me through the process of selecting the school was amazing. So kudos to Bottom Line. And also through Bottom Line, I met Chris. And because Chris Arnold and he's another one of those, when you look at everything from hindsight, you're like, oh, things now make sense. Like I was supposed to be there when I was there to meet this person, and everything sort of kind of went that way. I met Chris. He introduced me to Rosalind Acosta, who was another game changer, life changer person in my life that was a catalyst to so many great things that happened afterwards.
And now in that theme of mentorship, I personally think it's incredibly important. And you've had some mentors along the way. You mentioned a few. Tell me more about the impact that these mentors have had on you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think in so many ways, especially being a Latina, being a person of color in Boston, I think mentorship is so incredibly important because in the absence of you believing in yourself in ways, because you don't really see a lot of examples in your daily life, is still someone in a position of power in many ways that believes in you, that sees something in you, and that helps you see that in yourself. Roz was the first time I ever saw a Latina in a position of power that I can say, oh, wow, if she's there, I can get there too. And that's extremely empowering because representation truly does matter. Seeing that and seeing her, pave the way so I can also believe in myself in the ways that I need to be where I am today. I mean, as director of the Massachusetts MBEA Center, which is, by the way, Minority Business Development Agency and the newest federal agency under the government, is very empowering and is amazing. And I know that I can and will, and we'll do amazing things.
I can't stress the importance of everything you just said there.
Yeah.
But like you mentioned, you are now the project director for the MBEA. Tell me more about the organization and your role.
Yeah, so the Massachusetts Minority Business Development Agency is one of the centers across the country, and we're funded and run by the Department of Commerce. So it's a permanent fixture in the federal government now. They've been around for over 43 years, and for the first time, it's that important. The Biden administration has decided and said, this is very important. We're going to make this permanent. And what I do in my role is help minority business enterprises build capacity to get to the next level and where they want to go. primarily working with businesses that make about $500,000 of revenue plus a year. But we also just got a grant that helps us help businesses that make under that. So right now we're helping everyone, whether that is in marketing assistance, whether it's capital financing, you're going through a merger acquisitions, you need some operational help, whatever that is, we will be able to help you. And if we can't do it ourselves, we get subject matter experts that connect you that will be able to help you build capacity in the way that you have to, so you can grow your business.
Wow. I had no idea previous to speaking with you that this existed, but it's such an important organization to be a part of.
Yeah.
Going back to your journey and your story, no journey is ever completely smooth, right? There's always going to be a few hiccups along the way. And I'm interested to hear about one of those hiccups from you.
100%. I mean, like I mentioned earlier, going into college, I thought I wanted to be a doctor. And I thought I wanted to do research and get my MD PhD. Because the lack of resources that I had throughout my entire career, I thought that if you had a career, the only careers that you could have are doctors or attorneys, right? So going through college, I was like, oh, I think this is what I want to do. But meeting my friends and seeing people that do different things, it kind of opened that up for me. And then I get out of college, and about 2 years later, I get pregnant. So now I'm a Latina, pregnant. My boss is another Latina who was amazing because, she has children of herself, but it's still like the pressure you feel because you're like, I'm doing everything right. And all of a sudden now I'm going to have a baby and I'm going to be another stereotype. And, you become so self-critical of that. But I want to say that my mistake was being fearful. I think throughout our careers, we're fearful of letting our parents down, and then letting our mentors down, and then letting our friends down. And it's almost like, so it's that little, that doubt that creeps in that makes you feel like maybe because of this, you're no longer good enough or worth it. And then being a mother through the pandemic, being a full-time employee, and also adding going to business school in that process, my colleagues in business school, they call me Superwoman. And it feels really good, but it's amazing to be able to show my children that I can be a super person.
Such an important example and such a great model for your family there. Daliza, I want to thank you for taking the time to speak with me today, sharing us a little bit about your journey, the organizations you're a part of, but more importantly about you.